Coming up on Look Today, well, we've got some updates regarding the new Code Blue shelter site in Saratoga. Got details. Plus, a book signing takes place at the National Museum of Race and Hall of Fame in Saratoga Springs. More on that coming up. And the Greater Glens Falls Salvation Army is seeking the donation of a vehicle. I've got those details. All ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, it's Monday. I'm Jehu Jackson, this is Look Today. In tonight's program, I sit down with Rosemary Reedhammer. She's Director of Development and Marketing for Shelters of Saratoga. We're also joined by Diana Burke. She's a volunteer for the shelter, and they're here to talk about their fundraising event, One Fine Day. That's happening August 22nd. I also sit down with Paula McMahon. She's Family Fun Fair Coordinator, and we're joined by Phil Phaneuf. He's a pastor, Queensbury United Methodist Church. They're here to talk about the Family Fun Fair that's happening this weekend. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, we have updates regarding the Code Blue shelter in Saratoga Springs. Now, after searching for a new permanent home, Shelters of Saratoga received a generous donation from Ed and Lisa Mitzen. Now, this would be to build a new permanent home on the same site as the shelter. Well, a group of residents in the area filed a lawsuit against the city of Saratoga due to the negative impact they believe the shelter will have in their neighborhood. And we spoke to Mayor Joanne Yepsen about this.
And through a couple of cycles through the land use boards, very thorough review again and again by our zoning officer of the city, who has declared it permissible by our current city ordinances. So because some of the neighbors got together and filed a claim and a lawsuit against the project, it is now in the hands of a judge in Saratoga County, and he'll be making a decision soon.
In other news, well, owners of the 2006 Kentucky Derby winning horse, Barbaro, were at the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame in Saratoga today for a book signing. Well, the owners of the horse are Gretchen and Roy Jackson, and they gave a presentation on Shelley Mickles' children's book entitled Barbaro, America's Horse. Now, the book tells the story of the unique thoroughbred horse Barbaro, who won the 2006 race and faced struggles thereafter. Well, we were at the museum today. We spoke to Roy.
It's fun to see all the people that still remember Barbaro, and it brings back memories to us, of course. But there was so much positive that came out of it, and you see it with the people that still remember them and everything.
Switching from news to weather. Well, today saw a mix of sun, overcast skies. Finally, the temperature bounced up. Didn't you think it was September yesterday? All right, let's see how the rest of the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thanks, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser with your first look weather outlook. As a look at the national map, we'll see a stationary front boundary across much of the country from the southern plains all the way through the mid-Atlantic as high pressure builds in from Canada into parts of the Midwest, and that's going to bring cooler than average conditions relative to this time of the year. Also low pressure off of Pennsylvania into portions of the Northeast as well. Temperatures tonight, we're going to be to the north of these front boundaries, mainly in the 50s across the Northeast. And as we look across the area, towards 60 towards the deep south in our viewing area. Fort Edward 59. Glens Falls, we'll see an overnight low of about 59 degrees. We'll see 55 in Pottersville as well towards elevation. Could see a 10th to a quarter inch of rain as that low pressure moves to the south of us. South breeze, believe it or not, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, more scattered showers, 73 degrees. So a wet forecast ahead. So you're going to need the umbrella as you walk out the door. Temperatures in the lower 60s. Here's our extended forecast. We'll see temperatures rise back into the lower 80s for highs Wednesday and Thursday. Low temps comfortable mid to upper 50s. Slight chance of storms on Wednesday, otherwise sunshine on Thursday. but more chances of storms and rain showers resume Friday with a 30% chance and a 50% chance of storms, mostly cloudy on Saturday with a high of 77. That's the weather update here on First Look Weather. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser. Now send it back to you, Jesse.
Well, thanks, Clarence. What a summer. All right, back to news. Here's something we could use your help on. Greater Glens Falls Salvation Army continues to seek the donation of a used van or truck to replace one of their broken vehicles. Well, the old vehicle was instrumental in distributing food and clothing throughout our communities. Well, Salvation Army in Greater Glens Falls area, check this out, distributes approximately 85,000 meals a year. Wow, that's a big number. We spoke to Major David Dean of the Salvation Army.
So we're looking for a cargo van that's used, don't need anything new, small panel truck, older models, fine, something that runs, it's operational. FedEx donated us one 8 years ago, but it's got 300,000 miles on it. It's sitting in the parking lot. There's only low gear left on the transmission and the ball joints just went. So it's basically sitting on a tire sideways. It's not usable. So right now we'll be renting U-Hauls and things like that to get food in the building.
Boy, think about that if you know of anybody that's got a van, okay? All right, up next, I sit down with Rosemary Riedhammer. She's Director of Development, Marketing for Shelters of Saratoga. And we're also joined by Diana Burke. She's a volunteer for the shelter, and they're here to talk about their fundraising event, One Fine Day. That's happening August 22nd. Plus, I also sit down with Paula McMahon. She's Family Fun Fair Coordinator. And we're joined by Phil Fineff. He's a pastor, Queensbury United Methodist Church, and they're here to talk about the Family Fun Fair event that's also happening this weekend. But first, you see news happening, you want to share a story idea. How about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. I got some lookouts. It's Monday, so we look ahead. Again, another very busy week for us around here at Look Media. Kim Harvish, Chapman Museum will be in. We're at SPAC a lot this week, including a very special event on Wednesday during the day with Yo-Yo Ma. So we'll have a lot of footage and some stories about that. School-a-Palooza is coming in. And Alex Lombard, who runs the Lake George Music Festival, will be in. Boy, it's summer. Also a note, we've told you about this boat safety campaign that we've been working on called Remember Charlotte. Well, apparently it's having really quite an effect on the community. We were talking to the Sheriff's Department and the calls are in. They're up on 911 to report incidents on the lakes if people are seeing them, and they're actually printing some more of the posters. So once again, to Supervisor Claudia Bramer and Sheriff Bud York, Jason Carasone at the DA's office, and everyone involved in this campaign. What a campaign, what a cause. Last but not least, just a quick one, personal and aside. I saw both my beautiful granddaughters this past weekend. The young one, 5, whippersnapper. I'm trying to explain tornadoes to her, and she keeps saying tornado. So I said, no, sweetheart, it's tornado. A couple of times later, I said, no, it's tornado with an N. She looks up at me, 5 years old, and says to me, why don't we just call it a windstorm? Different generation, I'm telling you. Tonight on Look TV, we've got Beyond the Headlines and we've got Tracks, music show. Don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you, including ones about tornadoes.